Welcome back to The Takeout. 3 people were arrested this morning during protests outside an ICE facility in suburban Chicago, specifically Broadview. This, as a U.S. District Court judge issued a two-week restraining order blocking deployment of National Guard troops to protect the facility and immigration agents. This was the 4th judicial ruling this week that questioned the severity of the protests and the need for federalized forces to protect immigration actions broadly in Chicago and surrounding areas. Nicole Sganga joins me now. Nicole, always great to see you. Catch my audience up on what isn't and what is happening in Chicago and the greater Chicago area.
We've already seen some arrests, Major, earlier today in the Broadview area with Chicago police, the state law enforcement sort of pushing back a crowd of around 100 people there. But what's interesting is the National Guard is right now in the middle of a limbo. There was a federal judge who ruled to temporarily block the National Guard deployment just yesterday. And this was a wild ruling from the bench. The judge said she found DHS's assessment of recent events in Chicago to be unreliable and went on to acknowledge that there's no doubt there have been acts of vandalism and assaults during these ongoing law enforcement actions in Chicago, but that she didn't think local police couldn't handle it. So now essentially you have 200 members of the Texas National Guard who have left their well-paying jobs down in the Lone Star State to go to Chicago. And they're sitting there not getting paid because we're in a government shutdown. We are told that they are training still, but you had 20 of them deployed outside of that Broadview facility just yesterday who had to turn back around and go back to the training.
And the judge, in talking about the lack of reliability in DHS representations, is doing what the Oregon federal district judge did, looked at what they regarded as the facts on the ground, other reporting from local law enforcement about what was going on, and comparing them to representations made by the federal government and finding them widely divergent.
And as you know, the government appealed that, and it went before the appeals court yesterday.
In Oregon.
In Oregon, in Portland. And then that three-judge panel seemed to actually lean the other way, Major. So at first, obviously, the temporary restraining order came down, blocking any National Guard deployment to Oregon. But yesterday, and a few quotes stuck out to me. One of the judges, Judge Nelson, he's a Trump appointee, said, "It's not our job to second guess whether the president reasonably believed that officers were at risk." And the government kept pointing to the June 7th memo that the White House issued days before we saw the National Guard deployment to Los Angeles. And then, of course, the attorney for Oregon said, well, isn't that a little stale and outdated? And judges were skeptical, which was interesting to see. Judge Nelson went on to say it may well be that forces are used in an improper way, but we don't have evidence of that right now. All we have is a document that says we have a federal facility under attack. So a ruling from that court could come in days. It could be that the original decision to block the National Guard could be reversed, and it could have, an impact on some of these other cases we're seeing, including in Chicago.
And the legal dividing line could be, what is the federal power if the federal government believes something, regardless of whether it's actually happening on the ground, according to the representations of the local law enforcement?
Lots of deference to the president, Major.
No doubt. Nicole Sganga, thank you very, very much.